Monica, thank you so much for doing this. Have you ever done a behavioral assessment before?
A disc?
Awesome. Well, this is a little different. As you know, it took a little longer than the disc.
Yeah.
And so, with your permission, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a section of it and I'd like to just read it to you.
Okay.
And then I'd like to talk to you about each of that. Would that be okay?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, great. So here's what the behavioral assessment says. It says, Monica will work best in a fast-moving environment in which she can utilize her assertiveness in accomplishing her goals. Do you agree with that statement?
Spot on.
So what are you agreeing to? Let me read it again. Monica will work best in a fast-moving environment in which she can utilize her assertiveness in accomplishing her goals. So when you say it's spot on, what are you saying?
I'm a goal-driven person, and I like to move quickly, and I don't like to get bogged down by red tape when I know it's the right direction for doing the right thing.
Now I want you to notice real quick that and all of this is fairly scripted. So I want you to realize that, not that I'm following it as a script, but verbatim, but this is a very scripted. What's going on right now for me is very scripted. I'm also a highly assertive, aggressive individual. Sitting here for an hour and a half or 2 hours and doing this is actually painful for me. Okay? It's painful. And as a result of that, I found the only way I can do this is I have to get into the mindset, and I have to get into my and if you notice, I did this. These are all physical. This is all physical manipulation of Gary Keller in order to get ready for what I'm fixing to have to go through.
Can I just share with you my physical? I'm like, okay, here he comes, right? So I'm just straight up.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay,
you're
good.
So the other thing is that when I ask her a question, now today I'm not going to do a lot of this, but if you'll notice, I got my pen, and my goal is to capture what she says, and that slows this process down. So it's not a fast-moving dialogue. I want you to think of it almost as if I'm slightly dissecting the conversation, slowing it down so I can understand it and document it. So that's what you see me doing. I'm going to stop and I'm going to just do this, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to in any way even draw attention to it. I'm just going to write it down.
Okay.
Right. So Monica, when you said that you're goal-driven and that you do not like red tape, what do you mean by that?
You know, when somebody has a roadblock, and it's like I don't mind a roadblock if there's a time. But when somebody doesn't get back to me on time, or I say, can I have this by Friday, and they say yes, and they don't fulfill that, then that's what I mean by roadblocks like that. So it's just gotta, I understand having a roadblock if it makes common sense and it's timely versus stringing me out forever. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
It does. Can you give me an example, maybe in your past in work or whatever, where you encountered a roadblock and...
Well, sure. Any real estate transaction with a title rep or a lender, if you say you're going to do something on that date to work with Monica Reynolds, you're going to do it on that date. And if not, I'm okay if we have to move the date. You got to keep me informed. You know, if you don't keep me informed, then that's a problem. But I'll compromise on that. But you got to keep me in the loop. You just can't, the expiration date or when we're supposed to get something, it drives me crazy. So I like everyone to respect time and deadlines.
And how would you want me to keep you in the loop?
If we're working on a project together and you said that there was a certain timeline that you were going to get that information back to me, that would be great if I could get it back before the timeline.
And is any form of communication okay with you?
Yeah, any form. I'm good.
So then it says, Monica has the ability to take charge and do quality work.
spot on.
Okay. So when you say that, what are you agreeing to?
I'm agreeing that I do the very, very best, and if I don't have the answer, I know how to go find the answer. And I make sure that whatever work I turn in, I can put my name on it. I feel good about it.
So when you say you had the ability to take charge, what do you mean by taking charge?
Being in control of whatever it might be. So even like on a listing file, I never looked at the listing file, but I had a great assistant who was in charge, but I ultimately had a report from her that things were moving or things were moving well. Does that make sense? So ultimately it was my responsibility to get that home closed for that seller. So I just didn't turn it completely over, but I never touched the file.
So what I hear you saying is that when you need to take charge in your mind, that's taking control of the situation in order to control the outcome?
I'm the ultimate person that's responsible for everything that I'm working on.
Gotcha. And the other thing that you said was spot on was in order to do quality work. How would you define quality work?
Having enough time so that it's not sloppy or a detail missed, having enough time to think through, okay, if I do this, this could happen. If I did that, oh wait, I forgot about that point. Maybe I should do this. So I just need the time to kind of let it all percolate in my head for a while.
But what does the word quality mean to you?
The best it could possibly be by anyone. Just super.
How do you know what that is?
Because I feel good about it and it makes sense. And I am a person at this stage of my game, not so much younger. I like other eyes on it. I like other opinions. And then I say, what do you think about this? You think I got it right? Okay, shoot a hole in it before you show it to Gary. That type of thing.
So your definition of quality is objective or subjective? Are you saying that what I heard you say is if you feel good about it, that's quality. And then I heard you say that you'll check in with others to make sure that they think it's also quality.
Yeah, I'll spearhead it.
Okay.
Or I'll delegate pieces that I don't understand.
Okay.
And then I'll be the last one to say, okay, now I can release this to wherever I have to go.
You said that you can be creative in working with concepts and ideas, but will keep your people contacts purposeful. So what do you think? Is that to describe him?
Yes.
So when you say that you can be creative in working with concepts and ideas, what does that mean to you?
You know, I guess just the first thing that came to mind is that I wrote 2 books in the 90s before even anybody would have an assistant. Got thrown out of a Coldwell Banker office because I brought in a liability of an assistant. So I said, we need a manual.
You got thrown out?
They threw me out. It was a liability. She didn't have a license. I did more business than all their agents together, and Coldwell Banker would not have anyone in the office that wasn't licensed. Oh yeah, I got marched out.
Really?
Yeah.
They asked you to leave the firm?
Yeah, they said, she goes or you do. I said, adios.